think, okay, yeah, got it. I think Ruth may have forgotten. Hello, Natasha.
Hi. I thought I was late.
You
You
are,
are.
but you walked in right in time.
You are very late.
We just finished, everyone just finished sharing about step 1 and 2. And so you
Jenny,
walked
you're
in
not
just in
helping.
time.
Just in time to roll by. That's good. Thank you.
No,
Gyro.
just in time to share with us. But we'll give you a few minutes to get yourself together. But we were just kind of going over, everyone was sharing their understanding of step 1 and 2. But yeah, is there any other question? Yeah,
Hey,
so I think if
stop yawning, I beg. You're gonna
yeah.
she's gonna make us sleep.
So I'm not about putting people on the spot, but Natasha, since you were late, can you please explain to us categorization?
What's your problem?
I love you.
I love you right back.
No, but you need to explain it because we don't know it.
Madam, leave me alone. To be honest with you, the whole week, remember I was saying in Women of Value, I haven't really been well. I know I play everything off, but I haven't really been well. I haven't been to work the whole week. So I've been in bed. Today was actually a good day. I haven't really done any studying at all. I won't even lie.
So Natasha,
Yes, dear.
can you just explain as you remember? You don't have to have studied. You don't have to have done any of that stuff. And I'm not picking on you, I promise. And
Oh no, I don't care. You can pick on me all you want. It's what you get out. That's the problem.
If you can explain, Bess actually went ahead and explained to us what happens before the new system gets into RMF or into our
Oh, you
hands.
asked me.
No, she explained before.
Mhm.
No, but just as a refresher, if you remember anything, if there's anything that Jenny can help us with, and maybe
If you have
ask
any
me a question.
questions.
Yeah, if you have a question, that might be able to help us grow too.
No, I don't really have a question on anything so far. So
Okay. Do you feel comfortable with step 1 and 2, or maybe
yeah,
step
step 1 and
1
2.
more?
Yeah, step 1 and 2 was pretty good. I think we drilled it into us. So I kind of have it, I mean, basically, just categorization is collecting information. That's the whole bulk of it. So, yeah.
Okay. And what are we doing with the information?
We need to check if for confidentiality, right? And then putting them in the categories. Like, is it high, moderate, and low, right? And then based on and if you have a findings, then basically asking them to tell you what they're gonna do with that finding and stuff like that, so it's
Okay.
or how they're going to fix that finding, and if they need extra time, that's when you go into, what do you call that thing that you go into? I forgot.
Holmes. It's when you go into the, it's not resolution. It's
remediation.
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 Mhm.
I said poems.
Yeah.
And then we
Mhm.
get artifacts
Yeah.
once they fix the issues.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think right before you walked in, I was saying, I think Kaveri asked a question, and I was talking about the security controls.
Mhm.
That going kind of having when you have a chance going through that NIST 800-53 to look at those security controls and at least having two security controls that you are comfortable with.
Yeah.
So like AC11 and session lock was an example that I used. So picking two specific security controls that you can somewhat give some level of explanation to, just in case when you go into an interview and they ask
Yeah.
you something about what security controls did you do, whatever it is that you needed to do to it. And then an SSP, the importance of knowing that the SSP is very important in the selecting the security control, because that's the document that you will use to address each of those controls
Mhm.
being implemented in the implementation section. So
So when you're doing the SSP, that's when you run the vulnerability scan, or
so when you're doing the SSP is based on the security controls that were applicable to that system.
mhm.
So that those selected security controls are documented, and that's what a SSP is.
Okay.
That's a section in SSP. Yeah. So though the selected controls that
Were
are
we
on the
able
SSP.
were we able to find out how many control family there was? I know we were debating between, I'm dirty because I was cleaning and stuff.
Yeah. Um, I double checked and it was 18.
Okay.
But I think I was trying to, I you just reminded me, I forgot. I found a picture of it that had like, because what they did was they changed one or two of the control families,
Mhm.
and then they took one out or something. So I will remember tonight, make note to just send a picture of it to the group.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, so I can talk about implementation. I don't have the PowerPoint, like I can't share anything, but if you guys are open to writing notes, I can talk about what implementation is,
Okay.
which is the third step. Yeah. So implementation is when it's hard to define without using the word, but it's when you implement the security controls that was selected by addressing how each control is implemented. So that's where the SSP comes into play, because that's where there's a section on it where it has all the controls. And I mentioned that there can be over thousands of security controls based on the watermark. So the implementation, that's where you'll see like the frequency, the control type, whether the control is system specific, common control, hybrid. That's when all of that comes into play when it comes to the implementation stage.
So implementation simply means putting into effect the security controls.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So in the implementation, so the security controls that you selected, you're now going to implement them.
Okay.
Yes. But you're implementing them, but you also have to tailor it. That's where tailoring comes into play.
Okay.
Yes. So So when it comes to implementation, there's a few documents or artifacts that are very important at this phase, and I'm going to list them, and you guys can kind of jot them down. So there's the PLO2, that is a security control. That's the SSP. That's found in the NIST.
PY?
PL-02 is a security control.
Okay.
And that is the SSP, the System Security Plan. That's one of the documents. So right now I'm just listing some of the documents that are important to know and where to find them. So the System Security Plan, that's one of the most important documents.
Sorry, Jenny, I apologize. I just want us to back up. So that was the PL-2.
Yes.
It is a security control found in the SSP?
No, that is a security control. So PLO2 is SSP, if that makes sense. So you see how there's like AC1 for policy and procedures. PL02 is SSP.
Okay, is SSP. Okay, so PL-02 is SSP.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the SSP addresses everything that needs to be known about your system, right? That we talked about. So that's where you find the security controls and so forth. So that's one of the, I'm just listing some of the documents that are important in the implementation phase. And that can be found, you can use the NIST 800-18. Okay, we have that.
800-what?
18. Ruth, can you move to slide 2?
Okay.
Yeah. And then you guys can take a screenshot. This is what I was kind of going over. Some of the documents or artifacts. So the PL02 NIST 800-18, that's the SSP. And then the next document is the Configuration Management Plan. And then as you can see, the next one is the Contingency Plan. And that's also in the NIST 800-34. So you don't really have to memorize all of the documents, but the SSP is the most important to keep in mind.
Who remembers what the SSP was?
It's the System Security Plan?
Yeah. Do you remember what I said it was used for?
Vulnerability scans.
Okay, that's good. So the SSP, basically, to get the security posture, right, of any system, you use the SSP, because the SSP is where you're able to, the SSP is what tells you, okay, this is how many controls you have. This is what is needed for this system. So if we're using Zoom as the system, this is what is about Zoom. And what else do you think can be found inside of that SSP? Because there's everything about a system. What else? I want you guys to think about step 1 and 2. What else do you think is within the SSP?
The watermark, what watermark the system is. And,
Awesome.
and then
Not watermark, the system what? Not watermark, system what?
System control.
What does the watermark give you?
It gives you, basically, it puts it in the category.
It gives you the impact level.
Right? Whether
Impact level.
Yeah, impact level.
The impact level.
That's the word.
I'm like category.
Level. It categorizes. So in the
Yeah.
SSP, you have the impact level. You
Yeah.
have the system type. Like, is it a major system? A major application? Is it a general application? You have what are the controls that are selected that are tailored, right? To that
Right.
system and what needs to be done. So SSP is everything, is your biography, is the system's biography. All right. All right. Jenny, can I continue the slide?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay. So you guys are going to move fast with me, okay? So that's it. SSP describes the system security controls that are in use or plan to be used to protect all aspects of the system. SSP only contain control, compliance, description. At this stage, no testing is conducted to evaluate. So all you need to know is SSP is mostly completed through interview, right? So you don't even do that. By the time the SSP gets to you, it's done. But you have to know what you're looking at. You understand that? So look at what the things that are there. This is exactly what you find in the system information description system. Do you see that? Categorization, the roles and the responsibility. Basically, the person who owns the system, who does what in the system. All of that will be there in the SSP. E-authentication, how do you get into the system? It tells you. System, the name and the diagram. There's always a diagram. A diagram is like, you know how there's a shape to your house? There's a shape to your house. That's the diagram. All right. Hardware, software, interconnection, security agreement. All of those things are important and is there. Authorization boundary. Authorization boundary is, for example, you can come, like, this is where your backyard is. It doesn't go beyond that. So if your house is a system, it tells you where your boundaries are. So how far can Zoom go? What kind of systems can Zoom access? What things can Zoom do? What does Zoom have the right to do? So when you see an ISA is an interconnection security agreement. The connections and the systems that are connected to Zoom, there has to be a security agreement. Maybe Zoom is connected to Facebook. Maybe Facebook is connected to WhatsApp. Whatever agreement they have is called an ISA. Do we understand? Yeah. All of these things you don't have to memorize. They're not asking you this in an interview, but it's good to know because you'll be working with this. Yeah. And then security control selection. What do we talk about? The controls will be inside and it will tell you how is what? How is what? Implemented. Look at the bottom. So the security control is either implemented. Implemented means it's in place. That means from now on, we sleep at 8. If you enforce the 8 o'clock, that's implementation. When you enforce it. When it's partially implemented, that means there's a part of it that's in, a part of it that's out. It hasn't been fully done. Right? Planned. We plan to do this. Right? We plan to do this. Inherited. Inherited. Who remembers inherited?
You got it from somebody else. You're not the master of it.
Exactly. So if you're not the owner of that control, then when there's an issue of vulnerability or if it's not properly implemented, what do? What will happen if it's not properly implemented?
So you would need to go ahead and reach out to the person who actually has control of that system, or you can go ahead and say, I inherited this system. I'm not the one who implemented it or who's in control.
Okay, you can just say that because your system needs ATO, right? It needs authorization to operate. So you have to remediate because that's a finding. If it comes up and it's inherited and there's an issue with the control, because it's your control and you need the control to get ATO, what do? You have to reach out to the provider. That's the person you're talking about. It's called provider. So don't forget that. The provider. And think of it as when your internet is not working, you call the Verizon. That's the person that's giving you internet. So you call the people. And then not applicable. There are things that are not applicable. So Zoom does not collect your security number. So what will not be applicable? Think about all the controls. What kind of controls will not be applicable?
You won't need to have blocked, like the little X's. You won't need to have the blocked.
I know, but what did we talk about? What type of controls we talked about that you think PII? Think PII. What would be not applicable? Privacy, guys. Privacy. You cannot forget privacy controls. If we don't collect PII, we're talking about privacy. It's not applicable. So any privacy controls, AR, DI, DM, they will not be applicable. Do we understand? And in the place of that, it will say that Zoom does not collect any personally identifiable information. That's it. So that's not, and then you put NA. And then not in place is exactly what it says, not in place. All right. CMP is simple. We're not gonna read all of this. The requirement in configuration management policies while being tailored to individual. So it describes how to move changes through change. So CMP is basically your settings. That's it. Configuration
Or
management.
instruction.
You say instruction?
Yeah, to secure the server, like a basic instructions to secure a server.
Yeah. So it's what sets up, like this is how this is going to be set up. So for example, if you are looking for how often you run vulnerability scans, it could be found in your CMP. Right, Jenny, would you agree? So like if you're doing like those kind of guidelines, it will be found in your CMP. So a lot of times when there's a finding with scans or with like maybe scan every 15 minutes, scan every 30 minutes, when there's an issue with scans, a lot of times you will say, give me a screenshot of your CMP. A screenshot. What do you call a screenshot of something? What are the words we use to remediate? You see how I'm asking the questions? You see how it's confusing? That's how the interviews are.
So, I mean, so the question that you're asking, are you asking us to say, if you're asking us what a screenshot is, it's a picture of the configuration.
No. But what is it? Why would I need a screenshot for what? For finding?
So for finding, so that I can see
if there's a finding, what do you need to remediate a finding?
The poem.
Hey, Shaba. Then you did a review, eh?
Is it not?
What kind of review did you do with the people?
It's not the
You should have been interviewing them. That's the review. When I say review, I'm talking about interview.
The vulnerability scan.
I feel like I have to go back to step one. You people, please try to think about it.
If
there's a finding, what do I need to remediate a finding?
You need a
nest 860.
Kaveri, please.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, you don't remember the proof, the evidence. What is it called?
The watermark?
Today I'm not a teacher. Yeah, I'm having
Is it not the artifact?
Artifact. Come on, guys. How can you forget artifact? You need the artifact to remediate all your findings.
Are documents.
The documents, remember? So if I'm telling you there's a vulnerability, right? There's a vulnerability. That means we need something to fix. So I said, give me a screenshot. That's an artifact. So upload a document, upload a screenshot, upload signature to show me that everybody who has access has signed, that they have access. That's an artifact. So those things, if I say, give me a screenshot of your CNP, I'm just saying, show me proof that every 15 minutes there's a scan. Show me proof of it. It's configured, right? It's inside your configuration. Give me proof of that. That's what it is. It's your settings. It's an instruction, like Jenny said, that is set for your hardware, your software, your firmware, all those things within the system. Okay. All right, we continue. All right. So this is what it includes. Configuration management plan includes personnel, responsibility, resources, training material, administration. So basically, when you get a new job, and your HR writes you, right? When the HR writes and say congratulations, blah, 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 there's like an HR book. Most jobs have like a HR book where there's timekeeping, a handbook, timekeeping, time this, time that. That's what it's telling you configuration management is. That is the thing that tells you, here's the personnel, you need to call insurance. Here are the responsible people for insurance. Here's timekeeping. Here is those things, all those guidelines. Training requirements every year. You have to do a training for 3 hours about awareness and training for cybersecurity. All the jobs do it. Oh, we need to do fire drill. We need to do all those things is inside of your plan. How you configure the thing. I want somebody to tell me everything I just said up until now. What are you writing in your notes? Share what you wrote. You're laughing, but I'm serious. Like, read what you write. Read to me. Everybody's gonna read their notes because I'm trying to see. You are writing. I don't know what you're writing.
All right. So, oh, you're gonna go, Natasha?
No, go ahead.
No, go first. Yeah.
No, I was still writing the system security control selection. That page, I was still.
Oh, we left there. Hold on. You mean this page?
Yeah.
Hey,
I was still there.
we are in slide number 4. How are you still in number 2? Because you screenshot it and so you're writing it.
No. I was. No, I no. The screenshot is gone. I have to go back.
You guys are gonna make me pull out my cane. So if I start teaching this raw, the way it's supposed to be taught, I don't know if it will be any easier.
But Ruth, when you got to that one, you told us that this one it's not important. So once you say that, then my mind is tuned.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the questions I was asking you was 1 and 2, step 1 and 2. Everything I've been asking you is still step 1 and 2.
Right.
So if I'm asking if there are vulnerabilities, what do you do with them? So run me through that part. Run me through that part of the findings. What happens when there's a finding? Because your whole job is working with findings. So what would happen if you have a finding?
Okay, so when you have a finding, you have to tell them to send you, like, how are they going to fix the finding, right?
Use the word you're supposed to use.
Okay, so first of all, you ask them to fix the finding, right? And then if they're not able to fix it, then you guys will go into remediation, and they would have to tell you, okay, let's remediate, let me give me 30 days or whatever. And then after that day, then they would have to run another vulnerability scan to show you that whatever they said they fixed has been fixed. Right?
Can I jump in, Ruth?
I'm here.
Okay, so when there's a finding, we go ahead and we have a remediation meeting first. Within that remediation meeting, then we go ahead and, like Natasha said, we explain what the findings are. in that meeting, that's when they go ahead and they say, okay, we need to go ahead and have set amount of time in order to go ahead and give you proof that we've worked on these findings. Once that a due date comes, then they have to go ahead and show us proof, which is called artifacts, in order to show proof that they've done the remediation for the finding that was found. So that's what I have.
Wait, who else wants to come in?
I wanted to add some like details that maybe would help give a little bit of understanding to the implementation. That you're developing the artifacts based on the need of the system. So kind of like what Ruth was saying with PII and stuff like that. So there's a lot of artifacts that are out there, but every system won't use all of those artifacts. So kind of developing those artifacts based on the need of the system. And then you have to be able to look at the requirements of that control. And that's where you talk about the 30 days, but how can I show you what wasn't implemented in the vulnerability scan? So what documents, how am I proving that? So let's say session log, the AC 11, how can I prove that the system now locks?
By testing it.
That's
Run another vulnerability scan, right?
So but what proof? I need proof. So how can I prove that? Because I don't know, Ruth, you can say, can a vulnerability scan show session
No,
logs?
it won't. So what happens is, the reason I use vulnerabilities is because it's the easiest way to understand findings, right? Because vulnerabilities are also findings. But your job, you're not really scanning. Remember, I explained all of that the scans are ran by the organization, and then they bring you the scan, you review the scan. Maybe some other people review it, but from my position, you're not actually running the physical scans. So if a scan comes to you and it shows that the AC 11 failed, where the computer did not time out, the screen did not lock. The way you can show that the screen locked, Jenny, you can show a screenshot. Do you understand? You can give a screenshot of the screen locking. And then what you would do is bring another screenshot of the CMP. Within the configuration management, it will say that after every 5 minutes, after every 5 minutes, it was done. They can also run scans. You don't run the scan. They will run the scan and show you that, look, a scan was ran in 5 minutes, and then another one was ran again. And this is what came out of it.
Yeah.
You
so
see,
that's what I was.
whatever they give you is your artifact. Whatever, but you will have to accept, okay, I want a CMP. I don't necessarily want a screenshot of the session lock. Because if you lock it and you show me, when did it lock? You don't know that, right? So your organization can say, we're not accepting that. We need to see it. How is it configured in your system? And then they have to show you the scan. Me, I've seen the scans minute by minute. Okay, now it's 5 minutes, is locked. And you can see it. So anytime you have to provide an artifact, that means you're working on the findings. So I'm going to run through all of this really quickly again, because my goal is to finish step 3. If we don't finish step 3 today, we'll finish it tomorrow, because we're meeting tomorrow at 12. There's nothing coming in between, because 11 o'clock, I have Women of Value. After that, I'm sitting on the same computer and doing 12 o'clock. So we'll use the 2 hours and we'll finish 3 and then start 4. So implementation, and here, let me run through that whole finding. When you get a security assessment report, it's called a STAR. We talked about this 2 weeks ago, like last week. STAR. When that STAR comes to you, or you get something, whatever contains your vulnerabilities, whatever you receive, but we'll use STAR. When that assessment comes and it shows you AC 11 failed, okay, or control, I don't know, AC12 failed. Whatever control it tells you failed, you look at it and it will tell you why it failed. You don't do this, but they will tell you. Whoever did the assessment will say AC11 failed because AC12 failed because it will show you a big assessment of everything. All you are doing is putting possibly all of the controls together, maybe in a spreadsheet. Okay, you're listening, right? The controls together. The people who did the assessment, they're supposed to send it to Zoom as well. Zoom is a system. And I'm using Zoom because you know it. So they send it to the system owner and say, look, and then they send you a copy and say, look, that's why it's an Exacta. Exacta is the system that has everything and everybody has access to it. Does that make sense? So the company has access and you have access. So they see that, oh, there are 20 controls that failed. 20 controls. You can see the controls that failed and why they failed. A lot of time the system owner will say, I don't understand. Let's have a meeting. Do you get me? You don't always ask for a meeting. You don't even want the meeting because that means that's more time for you working. You're laughing, but I'm that serious. You don't want meetings. If they call for a meeting, you say, okay, fine. Then you go meet with them and say, okay, there are 20 controls. What do you need help with? He might say, I don't really know how to work on, DI1 because that control is inherited, even though that's the privacy control I just gave you, but that control is inherited, which you cannot inherit privacy controls. But I'm giving an example, so follow the example. That control is inherited. Then you tell them, please reach out to the provider. Figure out how we can fix this. So the meeting is only there if they need your help. A lot of the times they don't need your help. But if they need your help, the meeting is there for you to explain to them, I need a screenshot. I need you to give me an agreement. I need you to give me the legal documentation. I need you, but you know what you need because the company already gave you a list of what you need. Does that make sense? They don't know that, but your agency you're working for has given you a list. So you just meet with them and go through the list with them. Okay, then you give them time and say, hey, your ATO package is due April 1st. So we need to get the package in by March 15th. You give them the date. Can you remediate these findings for me? He will look and say, this was going to take a while. Whatever takes a while, what do you do to the one that takes a while?
Poem it.
Huh?
Forms.
You poem it.
Yeah.
Plan of action and milestone. In 2 months, I'm going to get signature for blah, blah, blah. You poem it. Anything you cannot remediate, you do what?
You poem it.
Anything you cannot remediate, you poem. Anything you cannot remediate, you poem. So the timing, don't worry about the timing is only significant if you have a package coming up. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's possible that the people can wait a whole year. You know that, right?
Crazy.
They may not do it. But if you have a package coming up, you have to do it. That's your deadline. But I've seen people not remediate for a whole year because they are aware. It's year 2. What year do we get an ATO package?
3.
Exactly. So you see where we are going. So all the vulnerability scan, all the necessary scans, all of that is there to do what? To see if the control is working. That is all. Any questions?
During teaching, everything seems so easy.
Aha, you see? Because what you guys are supposed to do is this. Like tomorrow is class. What you're supposed to do, that's why I didn't want you guys to go for a whole week without class. That's why I was doing the Wednesday, right? Because when it takes so long like that, you have to create a class for you in the middle of the week. You guys can meet without me. As you can see, I have a million things like everybody, but it's schedule after schedule. But if you say, okay, Wednesday is my week, I'm going to sit down and study for 1 hour, you have to review these things. So tomorrow morning, if I'm you, I'll wake up 9 o'clock, I'll start studying. By the time 12 comes around, I'm ready to continue the class because we're going to review again tomorrow. All right. So change control consists of configuration that are controlled, how changes are requested, approved, and implemented. Right? I don't know if you've been writing all these things, but I'm going to skip it. All these things you have to know. All of this right here on the screen, you have to know. If you're using a phone, screenshot it. If you're using a phone. Because trying to write this, you won't be able to finish
How
writing
about
it.
the page? Can I see the page before?
This is, oh, the page before. Okay.
Yeah, please. We don't need to know this. Oh.
It's not that you don't need to know. Explaining this right now, it's you're not going to understand. So some of these things, what I'm doing is I'll come back and introduce some of these things in.
Okay.
Yeah, I will introduce it like a separate document. So
Okay.
like, you know what necessary scans are. We talked about scans. You already know what those are. So I know those things I'm going to come in addition to. And these, we talked about contingency planning. Who remembers what contingency plan is?
I've never heard it.
Who said they didn't hear you?
Mm.
Was that you, Natasha?
Mm.
Contingency
An
plan. Jenny,
alternative.
did you teach on
it-
contingency plan?
It's an alternative to what the original setting is. So like if you have, if something unexpected comes up, then you would go ahead and have a contingency plan, like it's a backup.
Yes. So every system, good job. Every system needs to have a plan, a backup plan. So your contingency plan is if we have a computer room and the computer room floods, what's going to happen to the computer room?
Did we answer that question?
No, I'm just, yeah. I mean, I want to know what do you guys, what will happen? What do you think will happen if there's a computer room that floods?
All the computers will be ruined.
You will lose everything.
Yeah.
So you need a plan.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
You need a plan. So every system needs to have a contingency plan, a process that prepares an organization to respond coherently to an unplanned event. Rain, sleet, active shooter, right? Schools have active shooter. That's a contingency plan.
So
They
Ruth,
tell you at the military base, you fight or you fly. You run away or you can fight, you fight.
So Ruth, in the YouTube videos that you sent us, right, would the contingency plan in place then be, actually, I don't think that would be it, because there was two computers, the one that had public information and the other one had private information. So
Right.
that wouldn't be a contingency plan.
There wasn't a contingency plan.
Yeah.
So basically in a computer room like that, if it floods, you have a backup server, and the backup server is not located at your school, Natasha.
Okay.
Because if it floods, everything on that computer is on the server that is in Austin, Texas. So then you have to input how long. Yeah, that is why we're moving to cloud. That's the reason why a lot of companies are moving to cloud. That's why we have Google Mail, Drive, Google Drive, Google Sheets, Google. This is what is that's basically the cloud.
Okay.
Because if you live here and go to Africa, you can access your Google stuff. That's a contingency plan.
Okay.
So a lot of the companies are moving into that platform because they're tired of computers going out of date, writing things and losing the papers. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So those plans, the key about contingency plans is that we talk about recovery point objective. Identifies a point in time where data loss is acceptable. So basically, if it floods, how long before the things that are flooding become flooded so that it doesn't affect business? How much do we have to lose before business is affected? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. If there's only one computer and if that computer is down, you go to places, they say, oh, the computer is down. They don't have a recovery point objective. Do you get me?
Yeah.
The thing that swipes the credit card at your store cannot be down. How can it be down? What kind of plan do you have? You don't want people buying stuff today?
Yeah.
So that's what a contingency plan. How long would it take for that business, for that organization, for that computer, for that to come back up to functioning if emergency happens? That is what a contingency plan is. So you will include RPO, you will include business impact analysis. How does it impact your business? Basically, that's all it's saying. Recovery time objective, the maximum amount of time it takes to restore. How long does it take to restore the system? The computer is down, but do I have to come back tomorrow? Can I come back in 2 hours? So that is what all of those is included. So many BIA identify the maximum acceptable outage or maximum tolerable outage time. That's what the BIA is for. How does this impact business? They will put it inside the plan. So the plan components, initiation phase, activation phase, recovery phase, this is in every plan. Look at this very well. This is in every single plan. Initiation phase, so when something happens, who does what, when do they do it? Role and task. Who does what and when do they do it? Activation phase, what are the steps you take to start to begin to, restore the system? Recovery phase, okay, where's the alternate site? Where are we going? Are we going to another location to go work? Do we need to just log in, make a phone call, and the system is back up and running? Reconstruction, if your computer room is flooded, you have to reconstruct. You have to dry the place, reconstruct a new room, fix it, paint it. How long is that going to take? That sounds like 2 weeks. Do you have 2 weeks to waste for the company? But reconstruction will include all of that. How do we go back and build the original site? That's reconstruction.
Okay.
And then appendix is, okay, all the numbers I called, this is it. All the vocabulary I need to know is in the back. All the people involved is in the back. That's an appendix. Every single contingency plan has those things. Any questions? Was that too fast?
No.
Okay. So if you're looking at a contingency plan, here's an example. We're talking about control. But here's a finding we can find. If you're looking at a contingency plan, you're reading it, and you don't have a recovery phase inside, what do you say?
That's a finding.
It's a finding. It's that simple. It may not be a control like AC11, AC12, but it's a finding if the recovery phase is missing from the contingency plan. So what would you say to them?
So you would tell them to fix the finding.
You will make a note and say the contingency plan must be updated.
Right.
Or it is, it's missing the recovery.
This one, so is missing. Yeah. You have to let them know what is missing. And
same with the SSP. If the SSP has a control in there that's not implemented, what do? You let them know the SSP needs to be updated. And the control AC11 needs to be implemented. You see how this is it? This one, a full backup. What's a full backup? You can just look at it. If there's a computer room and you need to do a full backup. A full backup backs up all the selected data. The whole computer room is backed up.
Yeah.
Differential backup. Go ahead.
Companies are doing changing computers and stuff. They'll tell you to back up your files and stuff because they're gonna wipe up everything or whatever.
Everything. So you back up everything, but you can do a differential backup. This backs up all the data that has changed. So sometimes you run your what is that thing called? You run your thing on the computer, your Norton, your spyware on the computer, right? And it backs up your computer, just so you know, it backs it up. So if you do your spyware, everything on Sunday, by Wednesday, your computer crashes, right? When your computer crashes, what wasn't updated?
Everything from Monday and Tuesday?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it was not updated because you updated it on what? On Sunday. So if by Thursday it's fixed, if it's fixed by Thursday, what is the differential backup?
The days that you missed.
Exactly. So you don't go all the way back to the beginning of the computer.
No.
You go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's a differential.
Okay.
The difference that was not backed up.
And these lingos, you can think about it like, people that work nights, they get differential because the time
Exactly.
it's
That is why I make it seem like I'm turning this into social work when it's really IT. because if you understand things in the way socially, things make sense for you. Okay. So since the last full backup, anything that's different from the last full backup is differential.
Okay.
Anything incremental, it backs up all the data that has changed since the last full or incremental backup. So let's say then we update it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? We update it. And then we go back Friday. Friday will then update what? Thursday. Just the Thursday. And then Friday, another Monday will update Saturday and Sunday. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that.
It's doing it in bits, in increments.
Increments are increments. Bit of everything, bit by bit. Snapshot backup captures the data at a point in time. What does your snapshot do? That's exactly what it does. Yeah. When you screenshot something, it's data you are captured right there. Right there. Like if I say screenshot this screen, when I move the screen, you don't have it anymore. Do you have it?
No.
Okay. So you guys are looking tired, so I'm done. And I said 9:30, so we should finish. So that is it, guys. We will continue to talk about implementation is important because that's where all the stuff comes in. All the mistakes, all the problems. See, we're going to talk about contingency plan all the way. So don't worry, you got contingency plan. We will come and talk about it and what happens when there's an issue. The response that comes from it. Any questions? I will take 1 or 2 questions before we go.
So this is not a question for Ruth, but it's a question for the class. So what was it that Ruth said? Anything that we cannot remediate, what do we do?
If we cannot remediate, we go to poems.
Anyone else? Jenny, you're also part of the class, Fakutu.
Thank you. We're going to answer the question.
Just here.
That's very so funny. Jenny, please allow yourself to talk. Your children are bothering you.
She said it so many times. Anything we cannot remediate, we do what? I also don't have the words for it though, but she said it so many times. I'm so sorry.
Anything we cannot remediate, guys, you have to get this one, please. You guys allow yourselves to get it. Just give it time.
Oh, I thought I said it that it was the poems, right?
Yeah.
Is it poems? No, it has something to do with like waiting.
You implement poems. That's what it is, right?
Is it, Ruth? I don't think that's the answer.
What is the answer, guys?
That is not the answer.
What is the answer then?
Ruth, are you saying that's not the answer?
Calvary, what answer are you looking for?
Is that the answer? I don't think it's poems. I swear you said something else.
You don't know that.
You're laughing, no pressure.
I wrote it down. I forgot where I wrote it.
Wow.
No, because we just did the thing. So how can you now forget? You have to know, literally, this is the whole job I just summarized. The whole thing, we're learning everything to come back and do exactly the part I just gave you. Do we understand that? Like we're learning all of this. To come back. Literally, Jenny and I, like some of the jobs, all you're doing is assessing. Some of the jobs, all you have to understand so you know what you're looking at. That's why we're teaching all of this. But I literally
and where to find it.
Yeah. It's all about findings, assessments, and life.
Yeah, but she said when you see a finding and
Can't
you go,
remediate it. Anything
yeah,
you cannot remediate, you do what?
then you
You
implement
implement
poems.
a poem.
Okay.
No, you don't
Yeah.
implement. You create a poem. You create a poem.
So you
The
were
word
right,
is
Natasha.
create.
It was just me.
Yeah, you implement controls. You create poems.
Okay, so create poems
Yeah, because
and
poems
then let
is
them
a
come back
plan.
and give you the
You create a plan.
artifact, and
Huh?
then let them come back and give you the artifact.
Exactly. Any proof you get is still an artifact. It's
Yeah.
still an artifact. Yes. Yeah, that is true. Jenny wanted to share
Yeah.
a story with you guys. Go ahead and share the story, and then
I was gonna just say when we were talking about the security controls, I had an interview and it was a very interesting interview. But the guy asked me, I use AC11 as an example of a control, and he asked me how would I know proof, and that was kind of how he was like, you know, in a bit of an attacking way. How would you know that you can see these things? I said screenshot, and then he asked me something about another way that I can kind of show proof that this is being implemented. And so I was just kind of sharing that to say that sometimes they want to know like exactly how something is done, and I just kind of wanted to share that. So I use being able to going on site, because there's some positions that are on site or that requires you to go and look at whatever is being implemented physically. There's some implementations that you have to actually see it. So I just wanted to kind of share that, like the importance of like
Yeah.
just
And
knowing those security controls, have an example, and being confident in what we're saying.
Yeah.
that answer sufficed. That was a good answer.
It was, but not quite, because I think he was just having a bad day. Because everything I said,
he said,
he would, yeah, like everything I would say, he would kind of twist and turn and redefine, even though he's saying the same thing. And I don't know. I think Natasha, you wasn't here yet, but I was talking about earlier, like he would ask me CIA, but we know CIA confidentiality, integrity, and availability. But let's say he would ask me, what is the definition of confidentiality? What is the definition of integrity? It felt like I was in the class.
you needed the class.
Oh, so Jenny, when I asked the question, you couldn't answer, but here you are in an interrogation.
Yeah, so he was like interrogating me and, you know, asking. I talked about incident response plan, and he would, you know, like, yeah, so he was very, very like specific and particular. So I guess not just to you guys, but even to myself, just being confident with, because sometimes we know it,
The
but
keyword, Jenny, you gave the keyword confidence. Because you know
yeah,
you do know a lot, but I do notice that when you're talking, you talk undertone. You kind of have to posture yourself. I don't see you when you're talking because I'm looking at the screen, but I can hear from your voice your posture, and
yeah,
it's a slouch, like you've slumped. But if you're sitting up, your voice kind of projects a certain way that it kind of gives you like you know what you're saying when probably you don't even know, you know? So
yeah.
yeah, you do know a lot, Janie. So I think you have to kind of put a bit of bass in your voice and sound a bit firm about what you're saying to give you
Teacher
that boost
being
of
taught.
okay.
The teacher being taught.
No,
Yeah.
you know how people are book smart but not street smart. So then some of us too are too street smart, not book smart. So a little bit of both takes you where you need to be. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, definitely. I think it made me realize how I have
yeah,
the confidence because I can feel and sense that this guy probably has all these information just opened up. I'm just
right.
imagining him having all the like billion list publications opened up and he's just clicking the tabs and just asking me and throwing these questions that has
Yeah.
nothing to do with the job just because he wanted to, prove a
Yeah.
point.
I mean,
So
the
yeah.
confidence makes a difference, and so that's what I said in this class, that I want everybody to get a job, right? But maybe some people might, at the end, they might say, you know what, it's not a job I need. I love that I built my confidence. I love that I built my ability to speak so well. You understand? Because you have to get something out of it, right?
Yeah.
It has to be something out of it. You want to build all of that. You want to build the whole person, not just the part that just gets a job, but the whole person. And so there you have it. And hopefully what we'll do is when we do the interviews, you'll be able to judge each other, right? You'll be able to say to each other, you did well, you did not do well. You understand? Because we're
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
do interviews starting next week. Starting next week, we'll do the group interviews. All right.
And
Yeah.
I wanted to add, like, I made a note to myself, like, always keep talking during interviews to decrease getting more and more questions.
Yes. That's me
But
every
it's
day.
true though.
Yes, that's me.
It's so true. It's so true because this week I had 2 interviews, like not 2 interviews, but I had like screenings. I had 2 screenings. The way I
Mhm.
was talking, the guy said, "Oh, really?"
But you know what? One time I had a position, I talk my ways, I talk, sir. Then she's like, I was about to ask you this question, but it looks like you've touched on it. So I basically spilled everything I know. So she's like, I was gonna ask you this, but you mentioned it. Miko, I don't even remember I mentioned it because I just said everything I know. But I was gonna ask you this, but you said it. But I
No,
was
but
gonna
it's
ask you. That's how the interview went.
not, because that's how IT is. IT, they ask you question based on the examples you give.
Yeah.
All of my experience with interview, that's what I've seen. I would
Right.
say, "Oh, this and that." They would say, "Oh, yeah, yeah." Based on what you said, can you expand a little bit? Give me an example of when you did
Yeah.
blah blah. You know?
Right.
So I encourage you guys to keep doing it. I recorded an interview. I'm gonna play it for you tomorrow. It was very, very brief. The one of the interviews I had. Um, you know, the screening.
You're going off, Ruth.
The screening that I had. I recorded it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
No, I was saying I'm gonna play the screening, one of the screenings that I had.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm still waiting for the interview. But I'll play the screening. It was just very basic questions. But the basic question is why I'm gonna get an interview. Understand?
Right.
Is
Right.
how you answer those basic questions. Yeah.
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 And
Okay.
and in our department, we do like a higher view. That's our screening. So they'll do the higher view and you record yourself answering those questions, and then they will watch that screening. Based on that, then you get a call or not a call for the interview. Yeah.
It does. It makes a huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
So
very important to watch yourself. Like a friend of mine actually told me, because she was part of the interviewing panel, and she was like, I can share your higher view with you so you can see what you were doing wrong. She said, I was watching you talk and I didn't even notice your accent. You were speaking very this and that. I was like, is that Tasha? Okay, go. But when you finish, you're like, oh my God, I don't know what I did. So sometimes it's good for us to see an interview in action for us to know, sometimes how you can conduct yourself and all of that, yeah.
So is this helping anybody? Is this helping you guys, these teachings, or what?
Yes, it really is. And when you're teaching, it brings me to me teaching math, telling the kids, oh my God, this was easy. Remember yesterday we talked about this is easy. And they're like, it's easy for you. That's how I feel every day when you ask us a question. I'm like,
But are you understanding though? Are you guys able to understand though?
Yes. In the moment, you make it seem so easy. When you leave us, we're like dummies.
Were you able to listen to some of the videos I sent?
I won't lie. God be my witness. I didn't.
Okay.
I've been sick the whole week. Yeah.
Wow.
Today was the only day I've been able to be a bit alert, but I haven't even, yeah. But I am going to, yeah. And most of my notes, a little bit here, a little bit there. So I have to sit down and put them together and stuff like that. So I think I'm gonna do that. But most of these things are really good. I like the way you explain them. You relate it to real life, like when you were talking about a contingency plan. I will never forget it because I'm thinking about our school safety plan. How when there's a lockdown, what we have to do, those are contingency plans. So what happens if the system crashes? What happens if your system fails? Or all those things, so and then it's sticking to my head.
Systems do fail.
Yeah.
Yeah, knowing that systems do fail. They're not 100% proof. Just like they're not 100%, they can be hacked.
Yeah.
Your Instagram can be hacked. It's not 100% proof. You get me?
Right.
So that's how you have to think that your job is to protect the system. You are managing the risk. Everything you do, are you managing the risk? That's
Right.
thank you. All right, guys, it's late. I'm gonna let you go. Tomorrow, please keep the time. I'll be right on, and we'll continue to discuss this. Okay?
Thank you. Mhm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay, love you guys. Take care.
Bye.
It's best. You did well. You said who was the 3NG? Who's the 3NG in the thing?
Thank you so much.
Who was the 3NG? You welcome. Who has the phone that says 3NGs there? NGZ
Today
or
we
whatever.
didn't hear. Today we didn't hear Sister Fiakra.
Oh, Jai. You came late. Okay, I did my show. I had my time. You came late. I had my time. You can ask Jenny. Is Jenny still on? Stop it.
Everybody participated before you showed up.
Exactly.
And then they all slept and left it for me and Cavalry.
Yep. We had to.
All right.
So keep listening to the videos tomorrow, and then I sent you the recording, right?